The state's slow reactions and poor communication likely made the Minneapolis riots worse.
Those are some of the findings of an independent investigation. Esme Murphy explains what the experts say needs to change.
It's the latest study that says what just about everyone who lived through the aftermath of George Floyd's murder knows. The response was too slow and too poorly coordinated. The state says part of the problem, the scope.
I've seen protests that gathered a few thousand people, but I've never seen 10,000 people out on the streets with a common cause.
The study by Weiler Research, commissioned by the state, says basic training is needed to help cities like Minneapolis learn how and when to ask for help for state and mutual aid.
When there's a crisis, when there's an emergency, what can the Guard do? What can local police do? And what does mutual aid really look like?
Also noted the need for law enforcement training to distinguish between peaceful and violent protesters, as well as journalists covering events.
Beating up on reporters, that's not public safety. Firing randomly into groups of people with rubber bullets, that's not public safety.
Governor Tim Walz's spokesperson says the governor has reviewed the study and its recommendations, and that he is urging the legislature to pass his budget proposal for $300 million for first responders and local law enforcement to improve future responses. This report comes right after a similar report that focuses on the city of Minneapolis response. Both of these reports essentially come to the same conclusions, focusing on the lack of coordination and communication between the state of Minnesota and the city of Minneapolis, something both the state and the city say they have been working on since the events of the summer of 2020. In Minneapolis, Esme Murphy, WCCO 4 News.
A Minneapolis spokesperson told us the city is reviewing the report and is in the process of implementing recommendations from a separate report that Esme referenced. That is one that they received earlier this month.